Hey, what's up nerds, geeks, and collectors alike. Today we're taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series number 61, Transformers Dark of the Moon Voyager class Sentinel Prime.
Sentinel Prime, we bid you return. Sentinel! It is I, Optimus Prime.
Sentinel Prime is one of the most memorable Transformers in the Bay films, not to mention that he plays a very large role in Dark of the Moon. He is the main antagonist of the film. Say what you will about Michael Bay, but he definitely made us passionately hate this particular character. But that doesn't mean the characterization of Sentinel Prime was bad. He is definitely a good, if not the best villain of the entire Bay franchise. But putting that aside, let's take a close look at the packaging. Here we have a window where we can see the figure itself, an artwork of Sentinel Prime. Here's number 61 in the Studio Series. Here we have a vertically written Transformers logo as well as the logo of Takara, Tomy, and Hasbro. Here we have an artwork of Sentinel Prime, and here we have a Autobot logo, and at the back here we have our obligatory CGI product shots. And there is Sentinel Prime both in its robot mode and vehicle mode, and as you can see, this is an officially licensed Rosenbauer product. And moving on to the side, here we have a headshot of Sentinel Prime as well as his number 61. At the top, the Transformers Dark of the Moon logo, and at the bottom here we have the legal mumbo jumbo as well as the UPC. And that's about it for the packaging of the treacherous Sentinel Prime. Now let's get him out of packaging. And here we have a beautiful figure form representation of Sentinel Prime. This guy is definitely more treacherous than the Michael Bay Starscream, betraying his fellow Autobots, later on aligning himself with the evil Decepticons.
Why, Sentinel, why? For Cybertron, for our home. What war destroyed, we can rebuild, but only if we join with the Decepticons. No, it's not the only way. This is our home. We must defend the humans. So lost you are, Optimus. On Cybertron, we were gods, and here they call us machines. Let the humans serve us, or perish. You're lucky I didn't kill you. In time, you'll see.
And of course, who can forget one of his worst deeds, if not the very worst deed that Sentinel Prime ever did, is
a deal had to be made with Megatron. I hereby discharge you from duty.
I guess shooting Ironhide was his best bet, knowing if he fought Ironhide face to face, Ironhide would have made pancakes out of him. Putting that aside, let's take a look at his backdrop. Here we have a Battle of Chicago scenery. I really like what the Studio Series did here, giving with the Transformers Dark of the Moon logo. And at the side here we have the number 61, and then the Studio Series logo as well as the Transformers logo with an Autobot symbol. And this Battle of Chicago scenery is actually awesome due to the fact that it's not copy-paste from another figure. Moving on to the treacherous bastard himself, Sentinel Prime is without a doubt one of the best sculpted and painted figures of the Studio Series toy line. And taking a close look at the back, here we have some cable, but it is actually no surprise due to the fact that this is a Transformer figure. But still at the front, that detailing at the smoky translucent plastic, there are actually sculpted details in there in order for Sentinel Prime to look as movie accurate as he can be. And without a doubt, from the front, Sentinel Prime is definitely movie accurate. Unfortunately, he does not come with his shield. This is from the Transformers Studio Series number 44, Leader Class Optimus Prime, and still this figure from head to toe, especially at the front, he is definitely movie accurate. And at the side, at the back, there are compromises that had to be made, and it is understandable considering that it's an overall clean figure in terms of kibble. But this figure is definitely one of the best.
Optimus, you forget your place. I bring you Cybertron, your home, and still you choose humanity. I will retrigger that pillar. Then you'll have to go through me. Reinforcements! Decepticon ships, fire Optimus!
Moving on to accessories, Sentinel Prime only includes his dual blades. This accessory is actually fairly painted, but unfortunately it is quite lackluster when it comes to the paint. There's supposed to be some red and silver here. There's some red at the handle, and the overall blade should have been silver. But this particular accessory comes with a surprise at the back. Here we have a parts forming. Unfortunately, it is a parts former. It is actually a missed opportunity. I personally wish this was only a blade, due to the fact that with this, you limit the figure in how you're able to pose him. So you actually just reduced the overall displayability and playability with this feature. This is definitely one of those times when you think that I guess it's better not to have some weapon storage rather than compromise the entire accessory itself. And in order to put the accessory, all you have to do is split it in half and insert one side of the blade onto Sentinel Prime's hand and insert the other one, as it will peg in with each other inside his wrist. Even if they don't peg, Sentinel Prime holds this very tightly and firmly. He does come with a water hose detached, but I'm not gonna count that as an accessory, so that's about it. And then moving on to posability, Sentinel Prime's head is on a bone joint. Unfortunately, it is hindered, so he can only look side to side this far. And unfortunately, he cannot look up or look down. He can only do it very barely. You are unable to see that. And the shoulder pad does not hinder his going out movement as well as his 360 rotation. He does have a elbow swivel as well as a 90-degree bend. His wrist does swivel, but it is quite a tight joint. Well, it's not actually a joint, more like a mushroom peg inside, but you can still do it. You might loosen it for a tad bit. And here at the waist swivel, the way I transform this figure is it clips. So what you have to do in order to gain access to that waist swivel, we have to do a small part of the transformation. But unfortunately, his cape does go loose, but you now have access to the waist swivel. The reason why I do that is in order to secure the cape so it doesn't wobble around. As you can see here, right there, see, it no longer wobbles due to the fact that it tabs into that piece, but you can no longer access the waist swivel. He can kick that high up, very high up actually, and then back here. Let's just move the cape. He can actually, but unfortunately there's still kibble blocking him, so you can only back out that much. He does have a knee swivel as well as a 90-degree bend. He has some back and fourth movement, but that's more for the transformation, and unfortunately he does not incorporate a pivot. So that's about it for the articulation of the Transformers Studio Series number 61 Voyager class Sentinel Prime. Moving on to the size comparison, Sentinel Prime does stand about a little below 7 inches, which is kinda the standard size for Voyager class nowadays, especially considering their scaling. They rarely reach 7 inches. And here we have Transformers Dark of the Moon Leader Class Optimus Prime.
So majestic and peaceful, this planet. Unlike the final days of Cybertron.
I've wondered what might have been if you had fought the final battle instead of me.
Never mourn the past, young warrior. Thanks to you, our race survives.
You were our leader, Sentinel. It is your right to lead us again.
In a world I do not know, I am no longer your teacher, Optimus. You are mine.
And let's include his accomplice, the Transformers Dark of the Moon Leader Class Megatron.
Promised you so many years ago, where we rebuild Cybertron together. I have deigned to work with you, that our planet may survive. I will never work for you. And you would be wise to remember the difference.
Personally, I think that Sentinel Prime should be a little taller, since Optimus also barely reaches 7 inches, while Megatron is a little about 7.5 inches high. Personally, I think Sentinel should at least be 7.3 inches. Something like this, I think, is a good scale for Sentinel. I personally think he is a little small. Putting that aside, let's transform him. And here we have Sentinel Prime in his Rosenbauer Panther 6x6 Airport Fire Truck Turret mode. And I have to say, this is a spot-on figure form representation of the Rosenbauer Panther 6x6 Airport Fire Truck mode. I have a few gripes with the figure due to the fact that some tabs are extremely hard to tab or to align. I'm having problems, especially at the back here. I had to peg it, hold it at all times, but overall it's a pretty good representation. And for the size, he is about 2.5 inches high, he is 2 inches wide, and he is 7.5 inches long. And that's it for his measurements. Let's get the Transformer Studio Series number 44 Leader Class Optimus Prime in his robot mode. And that's, let me just adjust my camera here. And there we are, and my light. And there's a good shot of Optimus with Sentinel Prime in his Rosenbauer truck. And here we have Megatron, the Transformer Studio Series Leader Class Megatron. And I have to say, in terms of scaling, I still think Sentinel is a little too small, considering that he should at least reach the knee of Optimus Prime. But final thoughts on the figure. He is a very good figure form representation of the CGI render of Sentinel Prime. I think my overall problem with the figure is the accessory, and as well as his overall mass. The height and the overall build of Sentinel Prime could have been bigger. It should have been bigger, but it is what it is.
Always the bravest of us. But you could never make the hard decisions. Our planet will survive. No! We were gods once, all of us. But here, please, there will only be one. This is my planet. Must see why I had to betray you.
You didn't betray me. You betrayed yourself.
No, Optimus!
But overall, as a figure itself, I really like this figure. I really like the painting and the sculpting, and of course the amount of detailing in order to get that screen accurate look for Sentinel Prime as much as possible. I am highly considering of getting the DNA upgrades for Sentinel Prime, but it goes without saying that this is definitely a must-get figure, especially if you're a fan of the Dark of the Moon, which personally I am, and I've only considered to get Dark of the Moon figures as well as the movie 1 figures, since those are the Transformers movies that I actually liked. Make no mistake, I do like Transformers movies, but the first and the third movie really stood out to me. And finally, if you like this video, drop a like and subscribe for more content. It really helps me out. Till next time, see ya!